Hey everyone, this is Achilles from Axart Labs. Today I will present a full walkthrough of AutoBeat 2, the new version of our AI-powered MIDI beat generator plugin. In this video, we'll cover everything from setting up the plugin in your DAW to generating full beat sets, editing individual beats, and exporting MIDI to your track. Alright, let's dive in. Let's start with a project that we have already prepared in Logic Pro. So here I got two nice techno loops taken from the stock library of Logic. Okay, and I want basically to add a beat to those beats, right? To to those loops. Sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna add a new software instrument track. Going to just name it AutoBeat. Uh, AutoBeat can be found under the MIDI effect menu. If you go to audio units, Haxart, you should find it there. Now, um, keep in mind that AutoBeat is a MIDI effect plugin, so it does not make sound on its own. To be able to hear a sound, we will need to route its MIDI output to an instrument. And let's find such an instrument. Here it is. This is UltraBeat, which is a great stock drum machine in Logic Pro. So I'm gonna load the instrument section of the track, and hey, by pure coincidence, there's a suitable plugin. Uh, yeah, so perfect. We're now ready to start generating beats. Uh, Before we move on to the beat generation, let's take a quick look around AutoBeat's interface. So here at the top panel, we can see the preset manager, undo, redo buttons, the MIDI mode button, we will explain what it does in a bit, and the all around settings button. On the bottom panel, we can mainly find the parameters used for the beat generation, which is the style, density level, big generate button, the tension level, and the variance level. Here is the beat editor, where you can see a bit in detail and also edit bit like add, remove steps, edit the beat velocity, the ratchet, nudge it, so it's you can do things like a swing, generate a single beat, um, add some variance to the existing beat, select tracks for the beat generation, very important, assign different pitches to the track so you can map your drums or whatever you want to use, solo, mute, um, the loop section so you can loop one section of the beat. And here is the beat pads. So every preset on AutoBeat has a total of 16 beat pads, and a beat pad can hold an 8-bar beat. You can assign different MIDI nodes to these pads, so you can control them with a MIDI controller, for example, in real time or sequence them. So it is time to generate our first beat, or beats, should I say, because this large generate button, actually it will generate a whole beat set for you, right? So it can generate from 1 to 16 beats at the same time. And I say I want to 16 because I can lock certain beat pads so they're not overwritten by beat generation. Okay, let's start. So we've got this nice loop already. So judging by the style, I would say that we need a techno beat here. So I'm gonna go ahead to the style selector and select techno. This is the density selector, which is actually the number of events that happen, the rhythmic events that happen in one beat. I want a high density so we can see the effect of that, but low tension. So I want the rhythmic events to be straightforward, right? Not a lot of rhythmic tension, not too much happening off beat. And I want the variance to be 0 for a start, so no, um, let's say no surprises there. So variance is the degree of surprise that we get, or the rhythm elements that are not particular to the style finding their way into the beat. Okay, so so now I can hear something like an intro. That's a bit of an enhanced intro. Let's see what comes next. Okay, so from what you have probably noticed, AutoBeat creates the set of 16 beats based on a kind of general structure, hypothetical structure of a song, right? So, for example, those two, they resemble a kind of intro. These are sort of basic verse thing. This is a more enhanced version of a verse, as well as this. And now we have a breakdown and a build up for a chorus. So and this is a chorus. Another breakdown, preparing for the outro. And now the outro. Okay, so as you can see, the AutoBeat, as I said, it follows a sort of song structure. So we've got the intro here, the verse, the enhanced verse, the build up to the chorus, chorus, enhanced chorus, breakdown, and the outro. That's more or less how the algorithm works. So after that, I'm gonna go ahead and just, you know, because this is actually one of the great advantages of AutoBeat. All AI generation happens on your device, right? So there is no hidden cost, there is no extra cost to the generation. You can literally spend the whole day, the whole month hitting the generate button and trying out different beats. So I'm gonna go ahead for a couple of minutes and just do that while playing the loops. You can also try to change some parameters. styles. I will begin with techno. A bit of rap, why not? And there is a very interesting option which is mixed. So the algorithm will generate a beat that consists of different styles together. Let's try that. Okay, so we saw how to generate a whole beat set, right? So when I click the generate button, AutoBeat generates a whole an entire set of 16 bits that occupy these 16 slots or pads over here. Now, let's say that I really like one bit and I want to keep it, but at the same time I want to generate another bit set. So I can lock the pads that I want to keep, so they will not be overwritten when the AutoBeat generates a new bit set. Let's see that in action. So let me choose a lock. And here you see that the beat is locked, the beat remains the same, where the unlocked beats keep changing with every beat generation. Okay, another thing, I can easily copy, paste, and clear beats. Like for example, I want to copy this intro style thing here as well. Or undo to revert the changes. I can also clear it. But the usefulness of that will become more apparent in a bit. And once I find something that I like, I can simply drag and drop it, and it will appear as a MIDI clip or MIDI region in my DAW. So let's say that I like this beat, I can just drag and drop. Simple as that. Drag and drop. And this way it's really easy to build a whole song because I can just keep drag and dropping beats at the sections that I'm interested in. I can build a whole intro out of this, etc., etc. Okay, one useful feature of the in the beat pads is that every beat pad can be actually controlled by MIDI. So if I go here to the MIDI mode button and I click on it, you can see the mapping of the MIDI nodes to every pad. You cannot see, but I have connected my MPG 218, which is an MPC style MIDI controller. So I will demonstrate how it works. Okay, so as you can see, the changes are pretty instant. So you can create some really nice effects by rapidly changing patterns or more predictable pattern changes. And the thing is that you can change the mapping as well. So you can assign different notes, different pitch, MIDI pitch to every pad, or you can reset to its original setting, which is a very practical feature. And you can turn the toggle on and off. Okay, now let's go a bit deeper into beat editing. So I have selected this beat here on the beat pad, and now you can see the beat editor here, this view. That's a pretty detailed view of the selected beat, right? So here we get a thumbnail, it's good for an overview, but here we get the real information of the kind of events that the beat contains. So um, basically there are four edit modes, right? There is a step on off mode. So I can, as you can see, I can add or remove steps to the beat, which is incredibly useful because sometimes I might like the beat, but I want to add or remove some events. Let's see. Okay, the second mode is the velocity mode. So for every event, we've got the velocity slider here, so I can increase, I can decrease its velocity. Um, let's that here, so it becomes obvious what the slider does. So you hear the difference, right? Okay, the the nuds thing, I'm sorry, the ratchet thing, it re-triggers the event, so it plays two times in one step. We can try that with the hi-hat. One more time. So you can create all these nice rolls that you hear in different genres of music that AutoBeat can generate. And this is the nods. So here you can move an event. You can add an offset at the beginning of an event. So the event starts a bit later at the time, but before the next step. Right? So you can add a bit of swing or rhythmic variety to the event. Okay, I think I need to increase the velocity on this one so you can hear what's going on. Okay, let's give a listen. Did you hear that? Did you hear that the snare in this case was a bit off beat, so that created a kind of nice um, nice rhythmic variation, let's say. One important thing is that the nuts and ratchet cannot be active at the same time for the same step. So a step with ratchet it cannot be nudged in time, and that makes sense because they perform a different function, let's say, which sort of incompatible with each other. Okay, continuing on the beat editor. AutoBeat is a 12-track MIDI beat generator plugin, right? So every track has its own set of parameters, it's the pitch. So we got AutoBeat has a default of a general MIDI mapping pattern here. So you start with the kick drum, rim, snare, clap, everything is it's got its appropriate name, but you can rearrange that. So with the pitch selector, which is controllable either from the keyboard or via MIDI. So you play a MIDI note here, you will see the pitch changing, and you can undo to the original mapping as well. If you choose multiple custom mappings, you can always undo it here. Another button is the solo button, which is pretty obvious. Mute. And one very interesting option is the track selection. So let's say, for example, that I'm pretty happy with my kick, my snare, hi-hat, or no, actually, I'm not happy with the hi-hat. So I want to regenerate the beat, but only the hi-hat part. So what I'm gonna do is to select hi-hat, the hi-hat here, and go and click on this button. Okay, that button is the single beat generation button or selection generation button. It's different than this. Remember, the big generate button generates an entire beat set, right? But this one is gonna generate only either the whole beat that is currently selected, or if you have one or more tracks selected, it's gonna generate events only for these tracks, for these assigned tracks. So let's have a listen. Okay, so you can see that I can regenerate and regenerate until I'm happy with the result. Or if I'm happy but not quite there, I can still go ahead and further edit my hi-hat track. Okay, so towards the bottom of the beat editor, you can see the beat bar editor. So this is a series of thumbnails, and every thumbnail represents one bar of the selected beat, because every beat is 8 bars long. A very useful feature here is the follow playhead button. So when this button is activated, the playhead follows the DAW's playhead position. But if I want to edit something offline, I can just turn it off. Very useful. Another useful thing is that I can actually determine the length and the start and ending bar of one beat. So my beats can actually be shorter than 8 bars. And that's another useful trick. You can put a bar into permanent repeat, so you can edit with more detail and while having a real-time feedback. So there is another option for the bars. I can copy and paste a bar, so I can edit my beats in even more detail. And the clear bar button, right? So what is interesting with that is that it applies to the beat, to the track, sorry, to the track selection. You see? Uh, and the same thing also applies to the copy and paste. So if I copy the kick and I paste the kick, yes, it's the only thing that's pasted in the bar. And one thing that I did forget to mention is that the same principle applies here. So if I clear that pad, either by clicking the option or by simply pressing backspace on my Mac, the, the hi-hat and the cabasa, yep, they're gone. So this is a very, very useful feature if you want to partially edit a bit without destroying everything in it. So, okay. Uh, let's say now that, let me go ahead and generate a beat. Okay, last button that I would like to show you here is the randomizer, although I'm not really a fan of that term, a randomizer that adds a variation to that beat, right? So in contrast with the beat generation, the randomizer is pretty much instant, and so you can very easily you can use it even in live situations. Okay, the thing is that you can get crazy very quickly, so depending on your taste, you might want to use it a bit more sparingly or quite often, depends on what you like. Okay, to return to an earlier point, there are two beat generation modes in AutoBeat. One is the whole beat set generation, and the other is the single beat generation. So I'm gonna show one use case that you might find useful. So I have just generated the whole beat set, right? Okay, so I like certain things in that, but I would really like to get a different set of so you can see that once I get this kind of flexibility with the track selection, the individual beat generation, the beat set generation, I can start playing around and create all sorts of interest variations and other stuff. Okay, and the last part is the preset manager. So once you've got the setup you like or a beat set that you like or not, never know, you can save it via the preset manager. So this button here, the save preset button, it opens the folder with the user presets. So you can save your preset. Um, Apart from the user preset, you can also delete your preset. Apart from the user presets, there are some factory presets that I really recommend if you're going to start out with AutoBeat. I really recommend going ahead and loading some of these so you can get an idea of what's included and what the plugin can do. So there are some factory presets already, so you don't have to start from scratch, or you can draw some inspiration or play around, or then just go ahead and generate your own beat. Okay, that's a full walkthrough of AutoBeat 2. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and drop your questions in the comments. Thanks a lot for watching and happy beat making.